I think we just started. Here we go. What's up, dudes? I gotta stop it over here. All right, there we go. All right, something new. What am I doing? What am I hitting here? How you doing? What's up, dudes? So, just to break the suspense really quickly, this is the new guitar. I debated on about starting with it or teasing it for a good 20 minutes, but there she blows. And what makes it unique is that it's a one-piece rosewood neck, which is why it has a skunk stripe in the back to put the truss rod in. And they just hammer the frets into the front like they would a maple neck, right? Same thing. One piece maple, one piece rosewood. So, yeah, instantly in love. And rosewood just feels so different, right? It's not quite as smooth as maple, but it's a little smoother than mahogany, right? It's like this weird, not anywhere else. So the rosewood was for the win. And the best part was my wife bought it for me for my birthday, which is not hasn't happened yet, a couple of weeks. But we got it early. Yeah, it's not a cheapie. It's a U.S. made. It's an American standard, is what it is, right? They use custom shop pickups, I think, but it's basically I think it falls under the American standard branding. It's just a limited edition. I believe only 250 were made, but they said don't hold us to that, because if they sell really well, and as far as I know, they sold out pretty quickly, they'll do another run. So they're not promising any limited edition. They'll make them as long as they're selling. They'll continue to make them. Yeah, play Communication Breakdown. That's what I've been playing. That's so funny. Yeah. Right? Don't you kind of have to play that on the telly? And the other thing is, I've been so more attuned into listening to the page riffs. Did I buy it new or used? Here's the stunning thing. I actually bought it new. And again, if my wife didn't cover almost all of it, I couldn't do it. She really just said, let's do it, and we'll call it a birthday present. And I was like, okay. But yeah, they're like 5 times my $300 limit. Sounding underwaterish, dude. Thank you so much. I'm glad you pointed that out. I always forget that. Why do I do that? I don't know why, but I do. All right, this might take a second, but it should start to sound better pretty quickly. Is it still sounding a little underwater, especially with chords? I like this one. So the tone knob is a little funky, and I think they're doing this with all their tone knobs. The tone knob works normally, I think, until the very end, and then there's a notch. And that notch, I believe, is a total tone bypass. You just sounding so-so? Yo, what's up, guy? To change, to fix the under the water sound, I changed the mode of the audio from voice to studio. By default, it's voice, and you can't change that. Like, you can't say, for all my videos, I want you to set it up this way. There's no setting for that. You have to do it every time. I'm actually not running any compression at all, though it could be YouTube compression. I'm running through the Loco. Into my reload box. And then I'm going into TH2, and I'm running Ed's cab. And it is what it sounds like. They got a hold of, Rosen got a hold of Eddie Van Halen's touring cab, and they did a bunch of snapshots of it. Steve, what strings are you using? Well, I normally use clear tone. I just put a set of these 11s right here on my Ibanez, which is right there, my scalloped Ibanez, and I love it. That little extra thicker string just really made a difference on that. It's scalloped, and with the scallops, it's easy to push it out of tune, and that little extra heavy tension prevents you from doing that. So you can really play it a little bit, you know, more forcefully, and you don't push it out of tune so easily. But this, I gotta think, it's got Fender, right? I mean, it's stock right from the, and it has those, like, you know, the graduated tuning. Are they locking? I don't think so. But they're graduated. They do go down. They're a little higher, and then they go down a little lower. So, this all started with the purchase of Les Paul. Believe it or not. I said, you know what? I'll finally get one, and I picked up like a traditional Pro for short money, and it showed up, and you know, it had condition issues. Like right away, I could see there was like a lot of problems with the body and everything, which is probably why it was so cheap. But more than that, I just had trouble playing it. Like, you know, my hand was cramping up, and so we just didn't work. It just didn't work out. And so I returned that, and I used that to put just enough of a deposit to hold this, because this was there the same day. And then we went back with the wife, and she paid off the rest. Boom. Does it have a series parallel switch? No, this does not. You turn the audio up a bit. If my sync is off, you might want to pause it and then restart it again and catch up, or refresh your page. Because I can't control the synchronization. That's done through YouTube. But I notice that sometimes when I watch Tone King, he'll go a little, and Robert Baker, it'll go slightly off, and then I refresh the page, and it seems to work. What's the latest with the Skull and Bones and the Ibanez Les Paul? Good question. Skull and Bones, the body has had a complete tear down, right? It's completely down to bare wood. Looking pretty good, too. I spent a lot of hours sanding it, getting it down pretty smooth. And then it really just comes down to, do I want to paint it? And I think the answer is no. because I'm just not that good of a painter. But I do have a friend down in South Carolina who grew up around here, and he just moved down there a couple of years ago. And he's a really good painter with the airbrush. He does the like the plaster models and stuff, right? He'll get like a plaster model of like Dracula, and that thing will look like photorealistic, like a wax statue. It's like really unbelievable the work he can do with the, not just brushes, little fine brushes, but really the airbrush. So I figure if I send it to him, it'd probably look a lot better than if I did it myself. So that's the current plan, though he doesn't know it yet. I have to talk. Why does AC/DC sound so good on the telly? Got big logo shirt in blue. Looks awesome. Glad to hear that. I'm glad. This is sort of the medium logo. Boy, they really, my last order came in, I was like, oh, geez, that logo's a little smaller than I thought we had made it. And the funny thing is they say, do you just want to like continue do you want to just do a new one like based on your old one? And I couldn't do it again and like add the colors. It's like I either had to like turn that old campaign back on with the like one color, or do it again and like add more colors and do more stock and all this. So I said, we'll do it again, but they resized the logo. I'm like, you guys are killing me. Then it's got that, that front. I think the rosewood is a touch darker than the than the straight up maple telly. You need a big logo on the back of the shirt. Duly noted. The big shirt was a last minute idea. I was just said, maybe I'll do one big one. And I was surprised at how well those sold. I was like, oh, okay. Apparently I don't know anything. What guitar sim are you using right now? I'm using an all-tube 15-watt Panama Loco amp set to 7 watts. That's going out from the speaker out at 8 ohms into the 2 notes reactive reload box, which is converting that 7 watts of speaker awesomeness into a low line level that's going into my mixer. So the amp is full-on analog tube amp. And then in the on the digital side, I'm running TH2, and I'm running not one of their cabs, but their impulse response loader. And in there, I am running Ed's cab, which is one of Eddie Van Halen's touring cabs that was sampled. And then that's running into just a couple of delays, a spatial delay and a digital delay, and a room reverb. They're all set to a 15% mix. How's that for a rundown? What shape is the neck? It's C shape. It's straight up C shape. They make a companion Strat in Sunburst that wasn't as compelling. For whatever reason, the Telly was a more compelling one. They did make a Strat last summer in red that is compelling. It would be the perfect match for this, but I'd have to find one, But yeah, the Rosewood series. They make another guitar that's always intrigued me, and maybe someday I'll own one, and that's the channel bound. Where they cut like a boat hull out of the neck, and they insert a a maple fretboard. I mean, a rosewood fretboard inside a maple neck, and it's surrounded by it. It actually looks pretty cool. Sup, guitarist? You know. I missed the videos and can't commit to the webcast. Not enough time. Any chance you do some more webcasts, some more videos? Yeah, probably. I'd say there's 100% chance of that. Well, you know who was just over the other day was our good buddy Steve Marchena. And you know, we shot a little video. We got a show coming up that I could probably talk about right now, actually. Sorry, I'm getting calls. I think it's in Dedham, at the Dedham, what do they call that? I think it's the Mother Brook School of Music, or just Mother Brook something. It's on High Street in Dedham. And they're doing a couple of shows. They're doing one, and I think they're 2 to 5. And it costs to get in because they have to rent the venue. But it's basically one of the guys from the guitar department at Berkeley, who's like a super phenomenal guitar player, this guy John Finn. And he sort of organizes this and puts it together. And there'll be food. I think it's $12 if you're not playing and $10 if you're playing. We'll have a video on it, have more details. I know, banjo rolls. I got to work on my country playing, you know. That's all I got, you know. Like, then you have to like, you always got to go from like the minor third to the major third, you know. Do I ever play live? I'm pretty sure I'm playing live right now. Fessler's in the house. Do you want a D'Angelico? No, but I do love those. The big New Yorkers. I'd love one, especially some of the odd years there. There was a short window where they were doing a steamed pressed front in Japan. So it was Japanese quality, and they would take a hunk of spruce and they would steam it really soft, and they would press it in a steam mold, and instead of carving the top, they pressed it. It was pretty impressive, actually. Those were nice. Why do you ignore my question? What was the question? You know, I have to look at the camera. You know, you know. You know, I've been cleaning up here. We're actually going through a massive clean, and I know I say that all the time, but we really are this time. You still have your EVH Wolfgang? I do. No, the red guitar right there, that's like that BB copy. That like BB King copy. Truth be told, the pickups are just god-awful in it. Just horrible. And so, you know, I've never done a video on it just because it never really sounded all that great. You know, the pickups are just so thin and weak. You know, I just got to put better pickups in it. But that guitar is like 4.5, 5 years. Well, no. I got that in 2010. It's 2016, close to six years ago. So I probably got it in the fall of 2010. I found an RG321 for about $100. Should I get it? My question, you know, I'm not super familiar with the 321. Here's my take on whenever you're going to make a purchase. And I do this. This is pretty much my method. I go to eBay. I see what they sold for. I might check and see what they're up for sale right now. You know, I mean, if people have them up there listed, if you can get it for $100, and people have them listed for $150 and they can't sell them, right? Or if they're selling, people have them listed for 100 or 120 and they can't sell them, then maybe it's not such a great price. Ibanez makes good stuff. That's probably going to not be obviously a Japanese made. It's going to be either Indonesian or Chinese or maybe Korean, depends on the year it was made. Probably Indonesian and Chinese. Those are probably the two more likely sources, right? So I always go online, I'll check and see what it's sold for. I'll see what Guitar Center's selling one for, if they have one in stock. What are they asking for one? Because I find that eBay's prices are a little inflated. And I find that Guitar Center's prices can be sometimes a little bit below market if you really follow it. People certainly don't want to sell it for what they're selling it for, but they're in a different position because they prey on desperation. Right? People who really have to sell a guitar, they have to go in there and get whatever they can for it or trade it in because they're in love with some other guitar. So you know how that goes. Sup, Ed? Yeah, I think Great Zanvini says, it's a good deal regardless of the model. For most Ibanez's, that would be true. $100 is pretty cheap for a guitar. I mean, it's really hard to get a guitar for that kind of money, to be honest. Who's better, Joe Bonamassa or Willie Nelson? Willie Nelson? Jesus. Kids. I know, some Led Zeppelin, What is it? Yeah, I mean, you can get $100 guitars out there. There's like probably a dozen, maybe more, maybe 2 dozen guitars on Guitar Center right now for under $100. But they're almost all Squires, or no-name junk that you're not going to be interested in. Probably a few Ibanez. Oh, there goes the condenser. What do I think about the Indonesian Kramers? I like the Pacer Classics, but, Kramer had a bunch of years that were real junk. And some of those older models are pretty good. They're really bad. You got to be real careful on Kramer. They had a turnaround when Gibson bought the brand name and found a factory, and I think it's Indonesia that makes them, and that's the Pacer Classic. Around here, you could get a Pacer Classic for around $200. That's really not out of the realm of prices. Really $250 all day long. Have you ever seen an accurate Gibson headstock on a Chinese copy? No. I've seen them in Chinese copy ads, but because they're using the real guitar. They never get it quite right. It's always just a little off. The closest one they probably have is the Standard, because it's simpler. But the Diamond's always smaller. The Supreme's way off, Kuala Lumpur, man. Pixie, any guitar that you owned and regret letting go of? Dude, we only have a couple hours. Hold on, let me lay back on the couch. Oh, yeah. God. So many. My original Fender, the Strat, but, I was a harder rocker than what the Strat was going to do for me. I sort of needed to get rid of that. The Ibanez Les Paul, that was the one that almost instantly when it sold, I said, I probably shouldn't have done that, and my Ibanez Gem 777 signed by Steve Vai, one of only 777 made in the world with an exclusive green color. Quite frankly, I thought it was ugly. I never really cared for it. I thought it was like outrageously, ridiculously over the top. I liked, a more classy guitar, pinky ring classy, and it wasn't. It was pretty outrageous, obnoxious, quite frankly. Thoughts on Dan Electro? I've been looking at those. There's all those reissues. You can get those short money, like a few $100, $200-300. You can get those reissues. You can get the real ones for like $700 to $1,000. They're pretty good. They're pretty good. I mean, it's kind of a one-trick pony. I mean, you're gonna pick it up and you're gonna go like, you're gonna be like, all right, next guitar. Hey, look, it's my buddy Flipside. What's up, Flipside? What was your first electric guitar you purchased? I don't think you can see it. Oh, how do I move my hand? Right there. You see that little black with that little wood right there? That's the headstock of my first electric. It's an Aria ES335 copy, made by the Matsumoto factory in Japan. You can always tell Matsumoto because on the back of every guitar, no matter what brand, that's Aria branded, but no matter what brand they made, because they were a big factory that just jobbed for other places, it said steel reinforced neck. So if you have an old Japanese guitar, it says steel reinforced neck on the back. Matsumoto. What is that? What's the preferred string height on your guitars? Probably higher than most people like it. This action is actually a touch low for what I like. I might even just like it a hair higher than this. But this is pretty good. But, back in my day, it was almost like a sport, like how low you could get your action. My action's only like, the width of an atom off the top of my fretboard. And, it was like this ridiculous race to the bottom, literally. And I'm not a fan of it too low. I like it just a touch higher, and that's so it lines up on the tip of my finger better. Because if it's too low, it'll go underneath. And if it's too high, it'll get stuck over the top. I need it right in the middle. So you set the height based on the front of your finger, to be honest. Needle and a spoon, what's that? Any Doobie Brothers riffs? Is that Doobie Brothers? Right. Oh no, 80s shred players, we, like you said, buzzing. What? Who cares? We have so much distortion, you couldn't tell the difference. Have you seen those FGN guitars? They're beautiful. I have. My buddy has one. He brought it over, and man, I was like, dude, that was a really, really nice guitar. I mean, it was like a piece of furniture. It was so well made, so clean. I gotta say, that Les Paul Traditional I had the other day, the one I returned, there was like what appeared to be like just tape overlay. In other words, they tape off the binding, right? And they're supposed to scrape it down to where it meets with the wood, right? So you have this perfect seam. But there was clearly some overlay. I was pointing it out to Robert Baker. I said, that pink line right there, I said, that's the binding coming through on the edge here. And you can see like it's sort of over a little bit and then back. And then he's like, yeah, I guess that actually does look pretty bad. I'm like, is it me? and that FGN, nothing like that. It was pristine. So, just saying. And it's half the money of that Gibson. Yeah, they're pretty much only ordered through Japan. Gibson will not let them sell them in the United States. They feel the threat, and they're like, no. But in Japan, for some reason, they are able to market and sell them. So when my friend bought it, he bought it from Mr. Sparkle, right? That guy on eBay that sells about 1,000 guitars a year out of Japan. That guy has quite the business going. There's a bunch of them on there. Great Japan guy. There's a few guys on there, really good. The one I missed recently was a killer Larrivee acoustic. They had it marked wrong. If the picture was correct, then someone got a steal because they had it marked as like a $1,200 P9, which is a parlor guitar with a rosewood body, all handmade, all solid wood, top of the line. It's an expensive acoustic, but it's parlor, really small. But the picture wasn't a P9; it was an L9, which is a $3,600 guitar. And they sell new for around $2,500. $3,600 list, they sell new about $2,500. Used, you see them around $1,700, $1,800. They wanted $799 for it. And I was like, man. Gibson lost the lawsuit in Japan so they can carry the Les Paul without legal issues. Yeah. That sounds about right. And it had to go to that extreme, I'm sure. Kentucky, say hello. Greatest channel on YouTube, Pixie Lixxx, thank you. Hello, Kentucky. Hello to Polly B, one of my more ardent supporters. What are your favorite single coil size humbucker? Ooh, that's a great question. They're pretty good at recreating different models. I gotta say, I like EMGs. I know a lot of people, that's a terrible answer for a lot of people. They're like, they're too compressed, they're too clean, they're too sparkly, they're too pristine, they're too something. I just don't like them. Some people have an adverse reaction to EMGs. I kind of like them. I think they're pretty good. I do like what Fender did with their noiseless. I got a set of lace sensor at Holy Grails that are noiseless, and those are pretty awesome. Of course, there's a bunch of Duncan stuff. I have the custom stack. I thought that sounded great too. So they're out there. I think one of my favorite of the noiseless single coils is the Yngwie DiMarzio model. Right? That one, they got it right. That's a really, that's a really good pickup. It really just captures that Strat sound so perfectly. And they're hum free, which is always awesome. What do you think about the 2015 Les Pauls? I have the classic and really like it. So you must like the larger necks, because I think 2015 was the year that they went kind of jumbo necks on all the guitars, right? The 60s wasn't really an option. So for my taste, I probably wouldn't like it. That neck is a little too big, but I don't know. I got to give the 2015 neck a chance, because the one I played the other day was supposed to be a 2016, 60s neck. It was a, what was it? It was a 2012 Les Paul traditional, or it might have been a traditional. You know, it did have the the Pol Pots, right? So that's the traditional Pro, I'm pretty sure. And I didn't care for that neck. I didn't like it at all. Now, in its defense, the condition issues were probably what really drove me away from it. And with a setup, I probably could have got it playing where I would have liked it, because my Ibanez Artist has a really big neck on it, and I can get that. I can get that playing where I really love it, you know. And my Fender The Strat has a weirdly shaped neck, almost like a U shape, you know. And I really love that guitar, and it's one of my thicker necks. So, you know, it's not that the thicker is necessarily bad, but, you know, I play a lot of Ibanez guitars, and they're like the anti-50s neck. It's like if the 50s neck is at one end of the spectrum, that Wizard neck is at the complete other end of the spectrum. It's wider than the 50s neck. So could you follow up on that? So what's wider than this? Is the 60s a wider neck than the 50s neck, but it's thinner front to back? These are the little things I don't know. Is the 50s narrower side to side, but thicker front to back? I don't know. It's thicker front to back. Okay, well, no, that makes sense, right? But is it any different side to side, or is it just the front to rear thickness? In other words, they never changed the width of the neck. You know? Yeah, TK is at, he's at, we got to do it. What's a good Telly song? What you gonna do? Time's caught up with you. Vietnam napalm. I think it's almost time for a beer. Now, did someone say Baker was here? There he is. What's up, buddy? Dude, check your texting. I sent you a picture of a Japanese Strat. Did you see that Japanese Strat pic I sent you, bro? Check that thing out. That thing's real nice. Yeah. Thinking of Panama, Fuego or Shaman. Shaman. I love this local. I'm playing through the local right now. Between the local or the Shaman is definitely a more complex amp with a lot more features. Local is a simple amp. It's also half the money though. You know, it's like $399 versus I think $799. I didn't get that. No, Robert. I didn't get it. Lord knows I looked at it a lot though. That's actually a photo flame. That's a photo. And that probably has a Hamburglar back on it. Google it. Oh yeah, the Locos has the smell. You can just tear it up for a couple. It's got that new amp smell. It wears off quickly though. It's the glue for the Tolex, right? I think it is time for a beer. I'm beering it, damn it. Here we go. Oop. That's still working. Check. Oh yeah, there we go. And we're back from our brief intermission. How you doing? Please do some Dad Gad. I don't think I know a Dad Gad song. Yeah, this is the Wachusett Blueberry. I haven't done these in like 2 months. Oh yeah? To snitch? You're breaking out the packs? Yeah, thanks for getting overloud to fix his bus, see? You know? Well, yeah, see, whiskey. I can't do the whiskey. My wife does whiskey. Not a whiskey guy. Me and the whiskey. You went with the Sea Dog? See, Sea Dog is just a touch too sweet for me. I find it's almost a little too blueberry. This is more like a hint of blueberry. I find the Sea Dogs are a little too much blueberry. If you like the blueberry, Sea Dog's your beer. Oh yeah, so do a whole bunch of, you know, these are like 9s. Gotta put those 11s on this if I want to tune down. Yeah, rum. Same with my wife. She likes the rum drinks. Have you seen Steve Stevens' signature Nag guitar? No, but you're saying wow, so I'm assuming it's cool. Is Baker still here? I'm calling out Baker. Let's see if he shows up. Did you pre-order it or pick up local, Pixie? I picked it up local. They sold out of this pretty quickly. When I first saw it in the store, I went home and, wanted to see where I could get it in my local store. It was only in 4 stores. A couple days later, it was down to like 3 stores. Then I got this one. It was down to 2. Now it's down to 1. If you want one in, within 100 miles of Boston, North Attleboro is the only store with one in stock. So, have you mentioned Flamey? Oh, let's not give it away. Let's be cool. But I don't think anyone here knows about Flamey. That telly is screaming for a slide. I gotta get my slide together. It's pretty bad. Actually, Flamey's spelled with an E. Oh my God, this beer is good. Moby Dick. What was that? Something like that. Yeah, exactly, Robert. Batman theme, what is that? Forts, right? Then it's like a... Oh, let's look at the back of this neck again. Oh. Oh, God. Oh. He's having an episode. It's a little... I'm like a friggin' flambot. Yeah. This is returned into a song request video. I know, Christ. Jesus. I'm not your monkey. Yeah, chocolate chip mint. Exactly. It's like a chocolate chip mint, like hot fudge sundae. Yeah, I think the skunk stripe is walnut. What kind of music does your kids or wife like? Well, my wife likes like Green Day and Weezer. You know, what's it? My daughter is pure like pop, like whatever's hot on pop radio. She like knows like all the top 40 stuff. She's straight up top 40. My son is going through a Mozart slash Aerosmith slash Bon Jovi phase right now, and Queen, Bon Jovi, Queen, Mozart, and Aerosmith. So, yeah, I miss Stevie Ray Vaughan too. I remember the day he died. Boy, it was sad. That was like one of the few times I think someone famous passed away, and I was really feeling it, really getting a little choked up about it. You know. Yeah, the reason why he likes Bon Jovi and Aerosmith is the use of the talk box. He'll be in the Frampton soon. He thinks the talk box is the greatest thing ever invented. So you've got one Bon Jovi song with a talk box. He's not really into one song, the talk box song. Right? He's 10. It's like that's the way it sort of goes. You dig Phil X? I do. I saw him at NAMM and congratulated him on his recent baby girl, which is really awesome. I should probably bring this up because I get this guy who he posts on. We could have a little discussion here, guys. Ready for a little discussion? So I got a guy who posts not pretty regularly, but a couple times, enough to annoy me, about wondering if I'm ever going to address, if I'm going to have the balls to address the subject that he's brought up several times. So, yeah. So the general gist is that Jared Dines is ruining metal because he makes fun of it, and therefore, he's shitting all over, like a serious medium or whatever. I don't know. And that no one will talk about it because everyone's too afraid of Jared. And so I can address that right now. No, you're insane. You're crazy, right? And you should really seek professional help, because the second something comes out, we have a right to goof on it, right? So, Spinal Tap, Steel Panther. There's always been, Fear of a Black Hat, right? There's always some way to goof on something, and, some things, admittedly, the death of a child, really the death of anybody, you don't really goof on that, right? There are some things that are probably off limits, although I think a lot of comedians would tell you they're not. But, there is probably a line. But metal? Like, not goofing on metal because we're afraid we're going to ruin the genre? I hate to tell you that metal's over. The genre already ate itself. It's dead. Metal's dead. There's no metal on radio anymore. The genre's dead. And we're goofing on it now because we go back to a place of nostalgia. Like when I look back at that 80s stuff, it seems rather absurd, but in some ways still kind of cool, right? But it's we goof on the absurdity of it. So, yeah, we're not afraid to talk about it. You're just insane. And that's why no one really gives a shit. The only one who's mad about it is you. The rest of us think it's kind of funny. So, anyway, that's that. See, we did cover it. It just wasn't the answer you wanted. Ooh, what about the channel-bound Telecaster? Me likey. I really like that. And the channel-bound Strat. You know, that channel-bound, that whole series has really caught my attention. But I think I want it in the Select one. That was where it showed up first, was in the Select series. They might have done a custom shop first. I don't really know. But, yeah, I like the channel-bound. It just looks so cool. It looks like so engineered. You know? No, the beer does not actually have blueberries in it. It has an essence. It actually, this is probably the weakest of the blueberry flavored beers. They wanted to put out a wit beer, right? A wheat beer. And apparently fruit's a big compliment to it. How many guitars do you own? You know, I never really did a count, but counting beaters and everything, probably, I gotta think north of 40, or certainly north of 35, but it's gonna get whittled down soon. I think I gotta start selling a few things. I gotta start doing the Baker rule, which is if you don't play it in so many months, it's time to get rid of it, you know. Greetings from South Carolina. Yeah, but Bunny, that includes beaters, you know, guitars that, you know, are barely have molecular cohesion. They're a heavy breeze away from falling apart. Ontario, Canada. Yeah, I did get the case with the telly. It's right there. It's right there. See it? See the case? I did. Came with a hard shell case. Yeah, money. What is that? I think they actually do it in A. Jeez, I get something in my eye here. I think they actually do it in A. I like to do it in F, you know. Who do you think killed metal? You know what? Tastes just come and go, just like fashion. No one thing other than people got older. You know what happened? I'll tell you what killed metal. Time. Time kills everything eventually. Even you. A bleak look at the future to come. So yeah, you know what happens is that you get a little. So like a great example would be Kiss, right? Because Kiss has just been around for so long. So they do this big '70s rock thing, but by 1980 they can't catch a, they can't catch a cold in this town. because now they become a parody, they become a goof. So they take the makeup off, they sort of reinvent themselves, and a whole new generation of kids like sort of rediscovers them because they're not the band they were 10 years earlier. And then 10 years goes by after that, and they sort of tap into the nostalgia of the first run. They sort of worked that whole fashion, in and out of fashion thing about as good as it could get. Yeah, AC/DC still killing it. And, you know, very interestingly with AC/DC was that, you know, their last album was actually pretty well received. It did pretty well. This last one, I'm not, I mean, you know, the one before this most recent one, I'm thinking, was it Black Ice? Was that what it was called? That was a great album, but I don't know that, you know, they're never the numbers that they had in the 80s. Like, not even close. I'll bet it's less than 20% of what they were pulling in for 80s numbers. Yeah, rap I don't really get. In fact, that's the one genre that seems to be getting worse. I think when I was in college, rap was huge, right? But the lyrics were a little bit more clever. I think now it's just straight up bragging, you know? And trust me, it was all bragging back then too. But they were funnier, they were craftier, it felt like sometimes. So, I don't know. I think there's a great saying about rap, and that is it lets people who have no talent in the game, right? But their talent is that they can come up with some decent rhymes. And that is a talent. I'm not saying it's not. I'm saying it is a talent. But, you know, they can't do much musically with it. They're like the drummer of singing, right? They have no melody. They have no harmony. It's all about just rhythm. So they reduce the voice to a drum, essentially. Oh, man. Let's hear you rap. Okay. I'm the whitest of the white. My first class flight. They just play Blood, Sweat, and Tears. Yeah, rap can be good, believe it or not. Some of the old Ice Cube stuff was actually pretty funny. He would tell like little stories. They're almost like little vignettes, and they were pretty crafty, quite frankly. But yeah, some of the guys I don't get. You know, the whole thing now is that no one can just rap. They have to pull in the singer to sing the. They have to pull in someone who actually has talent to sing the chorus, right? No, the first Blondie, I don't think was the first rapper. The first rap I ever heard was, without a doubt, Rapper's Delight. That was it. By far, Sugar Hill Gang, Rapper's Delight, and they were huge. They were mega huge, but they were big the way like Weird Al was big. It was considered a little bit of a goof, right? I don't think it was really taken seriously. When the first rappers that I remember really being taken seriously would be like, you know, NWA and Public Enemy, you know. If Blondie was the first rapper, boy, it was pretty bad. Is that a rosewood neck? Yeah. Solid rosewood. Everything's coming up roses. I don't think it's weird when someone likes classical music. Why do people think it's weird when someone likes classical music and metal? They're actually very similar, especially the metal of the 80s. It was all derived from classical. Quite frankly, you know? I mean, all that, they literally called it neoclassical. So, I think there's a strong correlation between shred and classical. Huge. Yeah, bring on Rapping Granny. She used to go on Stern all the time, the Rapping Granny. Remember her? She was fun. Play some Bowie. Great chord. Da, da, da. Ba, ba, da. Me. Da, da, da. What is it? Later, Bill. Later, Robert. I got to be doing a little tune in here. Oh yeah, new strings are new. Oh yeah, geez. I'm putting a beat. Oh, well, the rest are good. Just those first two. No other effects. I have 0 effects. The only thing I'm running through is the loco. And I have the gain set to about, I don't know, 2 o'clock. So it's pretty far up. See you, Pittsburgh. Yeah, Vinnie Vincent, you know, a tragic story, quite frankly. I think he's got, probably some drinking problems. It seems that way. Didn't he have a domestic violence dispute not too long ago, and it was probably alcohol related? Can you play with your teeth? Maybe when I was younger, I wouldn't risk it now. Now that I pay my own dental bill. Yeah, they say they can't find Vinnie Vincent, like he's technically missing, really. Is that what they're saying? They're saying he's missing, like a missing persons song, a missing persons report or something like that. See, I'm reading. What's your favorite Van Halen song? strings do you use? I usually use a combination of 9s and 10s, but I've been gravitating a little heavier. Now I use 10s and 11s. I do use some 9s on a few different guitars, just until those 9s run out. Mainly shorter scale guitars that are tuned up to full E. But any of the longer scale, I use 10s. And if it's a longer scale and it's tuned down, then I use 11s. The thing about Vinnie Vincent that a lot of people don't realize is that, he sued Gene Simmons and not only lost, but lost all his royalties too. He sued for more royalties and lost the royalties he had. He shot himself in the foot like you can't believe. He felt he was owed more money. They went to court. The court disagreed. They agreed that the suit was baseless. They awarded Gene his attorney's fees and awarded Gene his share of the copyright royalties to pay for the legal fees. It's like the guy, man. Why would you take on Gene? Gene's got money, and he'll fight you. Is Eddie Van Halen the best or what? Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, P90s are awesome. Someone just wrote P90s are awesome. Bob wrote that. I'd love to get a guitar with P90s. It's definitely on the radar, but maybe not this year. We'll see. So this is the year of Rosewood Strats Rosewood Strats. So it goes to show you how tuned I am with Strats. Rosewood Tellys. It's a Telly. It's only my second Telly after the Squire. What year is this? 2016. Brand new. I can't believe I bought a new guitar. And I probably wouldn't have if my wife didn't cover a substantial portion of it. Yeah, I'll see it next year, for $9.99. And I'll be like, dang. Pixie, do you have a pig nose amp? No, we used to carry those. That was the original talk box, They'd duct tape a plunger on the front of a pig nose. It was really like aquarium tubing, right? That clear plastic aquarium tubing. Run that up to your mouth. Yeah, I might have more guitars than Slash, but I think his collection is worth considerably more. Hello, Morocco. Did you see the confetti Strat? No, I didn't see that. There is a 2016 Rosewood model. Might not be on Fender's site. I think it's a Guitar Center exclusive. And when it's an exclusive to a store, they won't put it on their website. So you might have to just go to Guitar Center's website and look up Rosewood. They have a Strat that's in Sunburst, and they have the Telly in green. And I think last summer they did a Strat in this color, or it might have been Daphne Blue. And they did it in an exclusive color called Hot Rod Red. That's the one to get, right? In Hot Rod Red. Hello, Cedar Rapids. Slash gave Joe Perry the 59 back. I didn't know there was a controversy. People have talked about that. I guess there was a controversy. What kind of telly is that? This is a 2016 Fender American Standard telly. Limited edition rosewood neck. Solid one-piece rosewood neck. With custom shop pickups. That's what that is. And it's about 24 hours old. We picked it up last night around 8 o'clock. Took the whole family out. We went out to Natick and Framingham and went to Kelly's. You guys are from around here if you know Kelly's. The nicest guitar you own? I don't know. Some might say my RG 3120. It's pretty nice. You know, that Ibanez. What was the occasion? My birthday. So my birthday isn't for a couple of weeks, but we're going away, and you know, it's all that stuff. You know. Best cheap tube amps? I love Panama. I'm running through one right now. Yeah, it came with a case. There's the case, right there. See it? Case right there. Solid ebony neck. I don't know if they've ever. You know, someone might have done it at some point. I don't know if. I guess it really depends on how flexible the wood is. If it's too brittle, they may not do it because they're worried about it breaking. Yeah, the case candy. See the case candy? It's right there. Right there. All that stuff. You know. GarageBand is an amp sim? No. I'm not playing through that right now. I don't know how good their amp sim is. If you're asking me like whether it's good as an amp sim, I don't know. I'd have to see what they're using for technology. You know, some of the better places like that they'll just go with like they'll get a copy of TH2, you know, limited edition or Amplitude crippled or something like that, right? They come up with some version that's slightly better than the free one, but you know, not nearly as good as the purchased one, but it's better than a lot of times what Apple themselves could come up with. Is the guitar you sold when you were younger and now are looking to pick up? Well, it started with the Ibanez Les Paul. That was really the first one. And then after that, it was the Fender the Strat. So I got those two. I think it started with the Strat first. And then I got the Kramer. Right? So there's three major ones. The only one that would be left would be the 73 hardtail Strat with rosewood fingerboard. But it's hard to find them, and when you do, most people want ridiculously too much money. The only place I could probably get one pretty cheap would be Guitar Center, just because they do put a downward pressure on prices. So, you know, with any luck, I get you know, the same guitar that Guitar Center would have for $1,800, someone on, you know, eBay wants $4,600 for, you know, $3,600. It's like it's not even close, right? So the Strat hardtail is the only other one I had as a kid that I don't have now. But it's hard to find. I did find one, and I almost bought it, and what turned me away was the headstock wasn't quite the same. It was right after they changed the decals on the headstock slightly. I said, oh, it doesn't match. It's not the right one. you're a big fan of Guitar Center used. I kind of am, only because, it's for no loyalty other than price. It really just comes down to price. And they seem to have the better prices. And they have a great return policy. You pick it up, you don't like it, right back. And I love that. You buy something on Craigslist, unless there's really a problem. If you just don't like it, you can't really return it most of the time. There has to be like a problem that you can open a dispute with and go through all that stuff. Craigslist, it can be okay, but those people, they want crazy money. They're like, brand new Mexi Telly, I paid $499, asking $450. It's like, are you insane? I'll give you, $250. It's like that, or the $350. I mean, that's what those go for. So when people go to Guitar Center's like, no, I'm not going to buy it, right? I'm not going to take it as a trade-in, unless they get it for what they can really move it for. Get it for a price they can move it at, and that's where we make out. That's why it was so hard to buy this brand new. Like every fiber in my being said, you are overpaying, and I am. Like one of the quickest depreciating items is a guitar. Show me any guitar that you bought, and I'll show you that guitar next year for a substantial reduction. And the more expensive the guitar, the more substantial the reduction. It's the way of the world. So. Yeah, someone wrote, Guitar Center will ship to the local store. That's why you got to do that. You got to pay for it up front, though. They will not just say, because I've been through this. The Daddies used to do that, because Daddies always had these trucks moving around, and they were regional. Guitar Center won't do that. You got to pay for that instrument. Have it sent to your local Guitar Center. Unbox it there. Because I tell you, I opened up a Kramer one time that was such a dog, even the guy said, was like, whoa. I said, he goes, you returning it, right? I said, yeah, I'm returning it. It was really bad. So, and they were bummed because now they got some dog guitar that from some other store that they totally overpaid for, Yeah, Fezzo says sometimes you say I want it and you get it. That's what happened with this. That's exactly what happened. The next thing I know, my wallet was out. It's like, the other thing we bought, I don't know if I got something in my eye. The other thing we bought was a drum set for my son. So I had ordered the Les Paul, and I knew it was coming in, but it wasn't in yet. So Thursday we go out because we had time to kill. It was, everyone was home from school. It was school vacation week. So I said, well, let's go out to the big music store. He's all like, yeah, definitely, let's go. So we drive out to Natick. We go to the music store, and, we're looking around, and he's like, Dad, because before he said I didn't want a drum set. He just wanted like a snare drum and a cymbal. But now he's changing his tune. He's like, no, I definitely get a drum set. You want to get me a drum set? I was like, no, not really. So we picked up a set of drumsticks, and the next morning I get the email that the Les Paul had shown up. So I said, well, we should probably go out there. So I check online, and I said, well, let me see what they have for drum sets before we go out. And a brand new drum set had just shown up from the night before, a PDP, which is a decent, they're a Chinese-made brand, but they're, it's real poplar wood. It's a decent instrument. And they wanted $149 for it, and it just became available that day because there's a 30-day hold on used items, so they couldn't, sell it immediately. They had to wait 30 days, and it was the 30th day or the 31st day, so it's like it was the first day it was available. So we drove out there, and, they were getting the Les Paul out. I went in, and I was like, I'm going to take the drum set. And the guy's like, oh, cool, yeah. He goes, let me see if it's available to pick up. He goes, oh, yeah, it is. He goes, I'll start writing you up. And my son was like, we're buying this drum set? I said, yeah. So that kept him busy. Well, I said, I'm going to go over to the guitars for a second. He's like, sure. went over and checked out the Les Paul, and that's when I put the Les Paul back and said no thanks, and got the Telly instead. Bought a classic Vibe Telly new. Those classic Vibe Tellys are killer. How much did you pay? It was like 1 penny off of retail. Retail was like $14.50, and we paid like $14.49.99. It was like, I don't even think it was like 1/10 of 1% off. It was like ridiculous, you know. Hey, EJ. PDP's made by DW. Was that like their import line? It had all you can still buy it in the UK. It's $7.49 American. Like if you because it's always listed in euros. But if you convert it, it's about $7.50, and I paid $1.50. Fender raised all prices yesterday. Well, good. I locked in 2 weeks ago. Guitar Center will haggle, but it depends on the item. You know, used items over 90 days, you have the leverage. Used item less than 60 days, not so much. Used item less than 30 days, they don't even want to talk to you. So, you know, that thing's got to sit around and get a little stale before you have any leverage. Watching from Lima, Peru. Wow. What do you think about the Gibson Studio Faded 2016? It's like $800. That is a great price. The thing about those is they're when Gibson goes low, it's really just the matte finish, which I love. I mean, this is total matte finish. This is oil rub neck, right? This is matte. So as long as you're comfortable with that matte finish on the neck, because I think when a lot of people associate Gibson, they associate more of the gloss, right? As long as you're comfortable with the matte, go for it. Anyone remember B.B. King? It sounds familiar. F minor for Ireland. Yeah, Matt, he says nitro rubs off really fast. It does. It does rub off really fast. That's why, like, in some ways, I almost like the poly finishes better just because they last longer. You know, we can debate about the whole thing about. I think they used nitrocellulose lacquer back in the day because poly wasn't really invented yet, or certainly not perfected. Amplitude 4 or Revolver 4. I can't say I can compare those because I love Revolver. Amplitude, people are telling me it sounds awesome. All right, that's the scuttlebutt I'm hearing. Is that it does sound really good, but I can't try it because it won't work with my current hardware. I got to upgrade the hardware. If I could just stop buying guitars, maybe I'd buy some new hardware here. Best music shop in New England? Matt's Music. Yeah, see, Green Meanie, New England, Matt's, right? See? Yeah, it's probably Matt's. Yeah, for an electric. For an acoustic, probably Music Emporium. You know. UK Manchester, love the telly. Thank you, UK Manchester. Really appreciate it. Do you like Oasis? I can't say I've ever owned any of their albums. I don't always turn their song off the radio. Amplitude has better presets, but Revolver's amps are way better. The problem I find with Amplitude is that Revolver just gives you a lot more for your base price. And Amplitude, it's pretty skimpy, for what you get for your $99 compared to what you get for Revolver. It's like not even close. So, in that sense. What show did you see last weekend? I saw Mike Stern. Yeah. He's like good luck with that one. Mike sounded amazing. I tell you, I was a little nervous, and it was talk about a nostalgia run. I went with a buddy who we used to go to see his shows in the late 80s, and it's like literally like almost 30 years later, and we go and we see Mike. First time I saw Mike, I think, was in 86, or I think it might have been 87. I saw him with Michael Brecker, and man, he's so good. Matt's is in Weymouth. Is it Weymouth or Brant? I think it's in Weymouth, Massachusetts. So it's sort of south of Boston. If you were coming from Connecticut, you would probably come in through the Pike. Unless you want to cut through Rhode Island, you could come up 95. Skunk Stripe. It's one piece, bro. One solid chunk. Know any Al Di Meola? No, not really. I never really got into Al. Play some Kiss? Dude! Oh, where to start? What did that bad boy cost? Right around $1,500, with tax and everything, about $1,550. Which Panama amp are you using? I am using the Loco. The thing about Matt's is that he has amps you can't find in any other store. Where are you gonna go hear a Morgan? Nowhere. You're going to Matt's. Period. End of story. I don't think there's really too many stores in this area. I mean, you might have to go to Connecticut or New Hampshire or even Vermont, way up to like Burlington to find a store that's going to carry these brands. When I was visiting him once, he had a guy drive down from New Hampshire, couldn't get the amp. He wanted a Morgan, couldn't get it. See you, Mellow Man. Thanks for stopping by. We got about another 20 minutes. We're going to wrap it up. Which brown one? This one right here. That's my Ibanez jazz guitar, like my my hollow body, our arch top. It's a Korean made. Steve, did you get the video I emailed you? No. Did you send it to where did you send it? Did you send it to YouTube? I went on YouTube the other day and I just happened to check messages. I had 0 messages and I had like 430 spam messages that I never got. Some like very recent, the same day. I was like, it's like those don't come to my email. If they mark it as spam, they don't send me an email on it apparently. I was like, whoa, no wonder people are angry. I'm running through, someone asked, are you running through like reverb and delay? I'm running reverb and delay on the TH2 end of it, right? So I'm running it through the Loco into the Loco's getting the amp sound, and the software is getting the cab sound, which is an impulse response of Eddie Van Halen's cab. And then I've got like 2 delays, a spatial delay, a regular delay, and a digital reverb, and they're all set wet at 15%, dry at 85%. Yeah, it's got the 22. Bobby hates that. Bobby hates 21 frets, but I have friends that are purists who like, they're way into the... It never looks right. Like I'm just looking on my screen here. It looks way more blue than it really looks in person. It's far more green in person than what I'm seeing on that screen right there. The best cheap Strat copy? I think Squier is the best cheap Strat copy, quite honestly. So those classic vibes are really well made. They really, really are. They're great stuff, you know. Play some Rush. Play some Maiden and give you a shout out, Dylan? No way. Do you think Sambora will ever get back with Bon Jovi? I think the longer they're apart, the less likely that is, but never say never, right? Then there'll be the reunion tour. If, you know, it could. Never say never, but I think that they're doing fine with Phil. Thoughts on Ace Frehley? I love Ace, though, you know, I think he's... you know, probably done a lot of self-destruction. Every time I hear him talk, he sounds like he's drunk, even when he's not. He's got, like, permanent drunk voice now. And that's what happens when you drink for a lifetime. Even when you're not drunk, you sound a little drunk. You get permanent drunk. You know? Your word on the Guns N' Roses reunion. You know, I wasn't a huge Guns N' Roses guy, but admittedly, you know, it would be interesting to see. You know, I liked Appetite, but I thought their stuff after that never quite met the force of the first one. But yeah, you know, I think the band, my take is this: the band will sound awesome. Axl, not so much. Wife just gave you permission to get a shaman. I might do it. Yeah, the shaman's really nice. It really is. Flipside carries them. RNA, I think, carries them. But I think if you need that discount, you might have to go to the Panama site. But check with those places; they might be able to give you a deal. What's your dream Ibanez? I thought about buying one of the J Customs because the J Customs were kind of hot, for a while, and I can get one out of Japan for shorter money than I could get around here. But in the end, I said no. No. Yeah, the string rake is a signature. Trying to make lemonade out of lemons with that one. Have you seen Vi's G3 Denver performance? I know you were here with the triple neck. Mind blowing. I might have. Yeah, see, Flipside says they'll match your pricing. So, definitely. Swirl the gem copy yet? No, I don't think I haven't thought about that. That guitar, it's like I don't know if I could spend that kind of money on it. In terms of time, like even like the $20 for paints feels like a waste. Please answer the guy asking if you like Pantera. Yeah, I used to. Is it boom? Something like that? I never got a Pantera record, so the only thing I really know by Pantera is what made it to the radio. So, like that. That would make it to AAF or whatever. How much does a swirl cost? Free if you do it yourself. You just have to pay the paint, buy the paints. And now I guess they even make paints that you don't have to use the borax, right? Then you have to use like a solution to make the water a certain chemistry, and then you put the paint on it, which sink to the top. You could wipe it off. But now I guess they make paints that just work that way. You don't even have to do that. You and TK should take a trip to Daryl's House Restaurant. Yeah. That sounds cool. Yeah, no borax with the magic marble paint. Yeah. I knew they had done that, Yeah, you probably should clear coat it. I think if you don't clear coat it, it's not going to look that good. You got to clear coat it. That's what makes a guitar really look 10 feet deep, is when you put on all those layers of clear over it. String gauge preference, we talked about that earlier. Mostly 10s and 11s lately, although I do have 9s in some of my older guitars. I probably have a half dozen sets of 9s around here, but mostly, like right there, what do we have? We have 12s, 10s, and 11s. Thanks, Freddie. Thanks so much, buddy. Thanks for stopping by. What do you do for a living? Geez, I mentioned that so many times. I work in really two things, IT and like legal services. And I work all independently. I charge my own. Drink malt liquor. The malt liquor that makes you go, Ooh. We'll see how many of you know that reference. Who's pulling that reference out? The malt liquor that makes you go, ooh. You tried a Chapman guitar? Tried one. I own one. I have the 7-string. Ah, Gareth knew it. Later. Exactly, black dynamite. Stick with me, baby. I'll have you farting through silk. Thoughts on black metal? Don't really have many. Don't really listen to it. You know. Best humbuckers for a Les Paul copy. I like the Duncan stuff and the DiMarzio. Love DiMarzio Super Distortions. Love the JB Jazz set. I'm a big fan of, if you want a heavier sound, the full shred, but that is a lot heavier. I love the Duncan 59 for like more of a vintage sound. The Duncan 59s are very biting. In fact, I'd say the 59 sounded most like that Les Paul I tried a week ago or 2 weeks ago, with that real extra bite on the high end. I like EMGs. A lot of people don't. I do. Sorry. You know. Yeah, the Grammys was weird. I mean, was it though? It's pretty much the usual goofiness. They're like, let's just take, today we're going to have, Stevie Wonder and, Coldplay. It's like they always try to mash up. It never works. They're calling this one Surf, and Seafoam is a little bit greener. I think the Surf has a tiny bit more blue shift to it, and I think the Seafoam green, which is the one I remember, I know the one you're talking about, I think that's a little bit toward greener shift. In fact, it might even have just like even a touch more white in it, right? Instead of the blue, right? It's almost like it's greener. How's that amp for Surf Tone? It can be really good. I would have to do a lot of adjustments to do it right now. When you run through the reload box and you want to run it clean, you have to turn a minus 15 dB off. I figured that out finally because I couldn't get a clean tone out of it. Every time I'd have to turn the amp up to get it, so I would get decent levels. And then I was like, that doesn't make any sense. I can't get any clean. And then I saw the button. Oh, what happens when I press this thing? Boom! Totally. Oh, sorry. There it is. I enjoyed the Lionel Richie part. I enjoyed Stevie Wonder with Pentatonics. I thought they sounded amazing, and they sounded very talented. Like they knew what they were doing, which you couldn't say for a lot of acts that night. I wasn't a fan of the Gaga. I wasn't a fan of the Gaga version. Gaga started out great. It had this cool, like, overlay of, whatever, computer animated technology, whatever they had. It looked cool. And then it looked all awkward, like a 2-bit Vegas act. I was like, what the hell happened? So I think she tried to do too much. I think if she kept it to like fewer songs and less attempts at dancing or whatever that was, that convulsing, probably would have been better. When will YouTube replace the television? It's starting to, not YouTube itself, but just internet. It's very slowly starting to, but they're going kicking and screaming because they don't want to, it's going to happen. But like CBS has a way you can buy directly, HBO, I think Fox is coming out with something, one by one. The reason why TV won't die is because the content. They have the content, right? I mean, that's changing, but... All right, guys, it is 8:54. I think it is time to wrap this up. I'm just about to wrap it up, and here comes JC. What's up, buddy? Check out the axe there, bud. There goes Mike. We've been here a while. There goes the condenser again. Yeah, Richie Blackmore was not invited, from what I've heard. So all right, why don't we wrap this up, dudes, and just tell me where you're from, and I'll try to shout out as many as I can, as I like to do at the very end. I almost did at the beginning, but we got way into the guitar and we just sort of skipped over that. But Oregon, Pottsville, PA. Chicago, Panama, Milwaukee, Calgary, Jersey, Virginia, Tennessee, Cleveland, Georgia, Pittsburgh, Michigan, Fullerton, Canada, New Hampshire, Rhode Island, New Zealand, Michigan, Bavaria, Lancashire, New York, Detroit, Dundee. Then it goes too fast. Zimbabwe, Ontario, San Diego, Kingsville. I'm trying to read as many as I can here. Florida, wow. Nebraska, Kansas, UK, Canada, France, Oregon, Kabul, nice. Connecticut, England, good night, England, Kansas, BC, Calgary, Washington, Texas, Australia, Nebraska, Toronto, La La Land, I've been there. Kuala Lumpur, man. Stoughton, you're not too far from me. Maryland, the moon, that is far. Louisiana, USSR, that's still around. BC, Israel, Shalom. Syria, that can be tricky. Malaysia, Cuba, you're my bathroom. Interesting. San Diego, Indiana. Check out your spam folder. I will. I'll see what's up. Fredericton, West Texas. Ireland. Sarasota, Saskatchewan. And there we go. All right, dudes. We are... Spain, Ecuador. All right. And we're out. Thanks for stopping by, guys. And as always, rock on.